It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts, Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Aviles. And now, let's dish. Why, hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we're serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. In case you haven't already, make sure you like us and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days show on the Facebook. We are Dishin Days on Instagram and Dishin Days on Twitter. So like us, follow us. We post some stuff sometimes. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're already watching us live, thank you. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, so that way anytime we go live and in living color, you know exactly what you need to do. You need to log on over and watch our beautiful faces. Talk about your favorite soap opera. Speaking of your favorite soap opera, you can take us along any of your favorite podcast stations on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeartRadio. It's nice to travel, and we like it. So take us with you whenever you want to hear what we thought about this week's episodes of what? Days of Our Lives. And of course, buy our merch. That's right. We got some merchandise for you here. Our Meliswin Possess Dishin Days logo, or if you want to serve up a full dish to anybody that you run into at the Tarjay, you can be wearing a sweatshirt, t-shirt, long sleeve shirt, beach towel, notebook, sticker, whatever your heart desires. Just head on over to www.dishindays.threadless.com and get your merch today.
Where do they go when they're wearing their merch? The what?
Tarjay.
The Tarjay.
The Tarjay.
Okay.
Have you never heard of Tarjay?
I've heard of Tarjay. You just said it weird. It's almost like you meant to say Target, but then was like, oh no, Target J.
No,
like,
the Ye Tarjay. or to Burley Jean Colfastry. Jacques Penet.
Oh, Jacques Penet, yeah. I've heard
Mary Jean Igel.
Oh, American Eagle. Okay. I haven't heard that one before.
Or Gap.
Nope.
And you guys, make sure you go and show some love to our former co-host and my chocolate twin, James Lott Jr., who has developed his own network, JLJ Media, on YouTube, where he has original audio dramas as well as your full soap opera fix. Head on over to get a recap of General Hospital, Young and the Restless, or Be Bold and the Beautiful with JLJ Media on the YouTubes. Before anyone asks, Araceli may or may not be here. She got stuck at a train, which means she was in her car on her way to her house where, speaking of the devil, I think she just popped in. Is that her? Wait, is she ready though? Is it the... Okay, she's all set.
I'm here.
Perfect time.
Araceli, let me tell you, Michael and Justin were talking so much smack about you.
Oh,
Rewind
yeah.
this.
Oh,
You were gonna see.
Like,
they were just, and I said, no, you will not talk about Araceli like that in front of company.
Yes, because it's not like Araceli doesn't take care of like this, that, and the other person on her days off.
Listen, I don't have days off. What are those?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that my point. Yeah.
I don't.
Days off does not exist.
I don't know. I don't know what days I'm on.
Mm-hmm.
Ching, ching.
Yes. Anyways, sorry I'm late, everybody. Thank you for holding down the fort. What a week.
Yeah, we just been holding it down for 7 minutes. That's it. But we just got to that point where I was gonna say, what did you guys think about this week of days?
I like this week.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we got some interesting, like, possible new pairings, some, like, rivalry stirred up. I actually really enjoyed this week. Of course, the, like, Hope and Bo stuff was really cool, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like it got really exciting, obviously, the second half of the week.
Mm-hmm.
I
wasn't mad at the first part of the week.
Yeah, me too.
I was like rolling.
Just did,
Well, I mean,
what they've been hyping and what we were waiting for is now starting to happen.
oh yeah. But to me, it felt like, a good balance. Like we got the first part of the week where I was rolling all over the floor laughing, and then the second part of the week where I was cheering. So yay!
Yeah, I thought it was a good week too. Actually, I know it's a good week when I'm actually feel like I'm paying attention and like the show is actually going quick.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Pacing was good.
Yeah, so I thought it was good, and so we'll get right into it because now it's time to start.
Dishin Days.
Dishin Days.
You know what? I quit. You know what? Maybe I should make a soundbite of that. It's time to start, and you just hit play, Michael Madison, and it says Dishin Days, and then we just keep going.
Yeah, I think so. We're never gonna get it right.
No. Ever since we went virtual, not gonna get it right
Yeah.
at all. I feel like Michael Madison tuned me out. Did you tune me out, Michael Madison?
I looked over. I was like, oh, I'm supposed to say Dishin Days, and then I looked over, and as I was saying it, I was like, oh shit, he's counting down. I'm rusty. What can I say?
But then I feel like after that, Michael Madison just went.
A little bit.
Whatever, Michael Madison. I still
No,
love
then
you.
I was reading our back and forth about your 3 snaps.
Oh, not a conversation within the conversation. I love it. All right, y'all. Let's get to our first storyline. My name is Bo. You can call me Bo Brady. I said that wrong. My name is Bo Brady. You can call me Bo Brady. Or was it supposed to sound like my name
sound like
is
Forrest
Bo
Gump.
Brady? Oh, that's how. Okay. Let me. I felt like that.
Bo Brady. You can call me Bro Brady.
That's how you wanted me to do it.
Okay.
My name is Bro Brady. You can call me Bo Brady.
Is he though?
Okay. So there. Welcome back, Bo. Welcome back, Hope.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the storyline that we have been waiting for since Beyond Salem Chapter 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Okay, so we're already starting discussions about Bo, and like they just seemed something off about him. I don't know if it was anything off about him. I thought so once everything played out or started playing out, I was like, oh, I see what he's doing.
Yeah, it was a trick.
Yeah, I felt like he was kind of playing like, oh, hey, long time no see.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
Where is she?
Right.
She's in there. Well, we have to go back in there. Yeah. In order for Kate to be like, okay, and then he was like, that's how I felt like it was.
Yeah,
I feel like he's just under he's under some kind of he's not fully because the what
Megan.
I want to say Miranda. That's not her name.
Megan.
What Megan needs.
Well, Miranda is her name, but not her name.
I know. I'm because I saw her commenting on the caption that before the show started, so now Miranda's in my head. But so Megan needs that serum because she needs it because she was frozen for so long, and she needs it, I guess, to survive, or she needs it for some reason. I'm thinking Bo is not doesn't fully have his zhuzh from being frozen, and that's what. And then she somehow, she brainwashed Steve and John last year. She may have brainwashed him. So that's what I took from it, that he was just he's brainwashed, and he knows he's aligned with Megan, but in terms of everybody else, he's just like, he doesn't really know, like maybe or not that he doesn't know, but like he's almost like John was to Stefano when Stefano had John brainwashed.
Right.
That's how I took it.
Yeah. Like he's a pawn.
Oh, okay.
Like she's a pawn. Yes, like he's a pawn.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be both. I mean, like she obviously has him under some sort of control if he's on her side, but it could also be the fact that he's not Or maybe she's able to control him more easily because he isn't his full self yet, and he's coming out of this cryogenic state.
Need to pop it back in the microwave for 10 seconds.
I did see a lot of people that were confused about that. They were like, "Oh man, Peter's gotten really rusty, or like he retired and like can't get back in the swing." And I'm like, "No, I think these are actual takes of his bad."
Yeah, this wasn't. He was acting that way intentionally.
Storyline, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't suddenly forget how to act like the same character that you portrayed for decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he obviously had to maybe approach it a little differently because I mean. As Dolomatic said, Bo isn't fully defrosted yet.
Yeah.
but I find this storyline so interesting, and I read the article in Soap Opera Digest from Ron. Ron is the head writer, in case people don't know. And he was talking about the storyline, and he was saying that this storyline is old school days. And I was like, you know what? I felt that because at the end of Thursday's episode, I was like, do you ever have those moments like at the end of an episode, you're like, oh my God, unless it's just me, but you have that moment of like, ooh, like I can't wait to see what happens next. Like that's what I felt like on Thursday. And that whole scene there with in Megan's laboratory of how everyone was coming out of these doors, in and out or whatever, and you didn't know who was greeting who where. I thought that was so fun. Like, watching Steve and John go into the door, but Marlena and Kayla were trying to get out of the door, but then they stepped back, and then you thought, oh,
they all heard clicks, and yeah.
and you thought John and Patch were going to see Marlena and Kayla, but then Marlena and Kayla's door opened, and it was Rolf, and then when John and Patch walked through, it was Hope.
Yeah.
And then when Kate punched Megan and walked out of her door, she ran into Bo. So it was kind of like, like all over the place.
It was a good little cliffhanger. A good little cliffhanger for an episode.
Yeah.
I felt like with these two episodes, they really, I don't feel like it was business as usual in terms of like these two episodes. I feel like they stepped them up, a little bit. Like it was almost like they went to the level of that they were going during Beyond Salem for
that Peacock money.
Yeah.
It's that Peacock money, and
it's some new sets and
some
one
new
thing
sets,
they need to do.
Technical
and
aspect.
I don't know. One thing that was bugging me, and I don't know if it was intentional. There was a green hue, especially when Steve was in Andrew's office, and I don't know if it was a reflection of like, because you see the city outside, if that's a green screen, and so then the green, and I'm like, oh, just tweak the lighting a little bit, or it could have been intentional. Like maybe it wasn't a green screen, maybe it was an actual like city backdrop, and they just had a green light in there. But I was just like, I was like, the green, it's distracting.
I didn't notice that, but I did a little. I did appreciate. Again, very much like the Beyond Salem of like, San Francisco, California. And I'm like, who's over there? And then it went to Paul.
You of all people.
I know.
Oh yes. Yeah.
I know. But when they cut to Paul's apartment, I was like, this apartment looks familiar. And I was like, oh, Paul.
Yeah.
Side note, because in true Tony fashion.
Yes, go ahead, Tony. We're waiting for this.
My mind drifted, and I was like, oh man, wouldn't it have been fun to have like they cut to San Francisco and like, Terrence and Paul were having a kiki, but then John came in and I was like, Daddy John, how are you?
Daddy John.
And then somehow I went on the mission with them.
Oh, now you're on the mission. not just in the scene, you're on the mission.
This mission needs a gay DJ.
Yeah. I mean, listen, okay, fine, not the whole mission, but like a scene where like, something happens like in the gay club or wherever, DJs are found, and it's like, oh yeah, I can get you in.
Oh god.
Anyway, that was just my own little.
I would hope that would be. It would have to be, a storyline somewhere in a club where like you have to find somebody in a club or something like that, because otherwise you be the bait.
That's shady.
No, can you imagine if one of the doors was
hold on, Justin. Hold on. Can you put that back up? B Game fan says no, that wouldn't be fun for anyone but you, Tony.
You done it now.
Terrence has a detractor. Terrence does not.
I'm just gonna say bless your heart on that.
Bless your heart.
Ooh, growth. Okay.
And now you can take that away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dylan Matthews says Terrence says Paulina's assistant needs to happen. Now that would be comedy gold.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I did like how they introduced where everyone was, how they introduced Paul in San Francisco and the nice ISA building with Andrew. I liked all that, and I liked John going to visit Paul to kind of start, and Patch going to visit Andrew to kind of start up the whole Megan storyline, and I feel like they really integrated that very nicely in like a very smooth way to kind of bring everyone together. Christian Alfonso looked great when they bust through that door, and she was just like,
yeah, she did look good.
And I was like, yeah, and I like the waviness of the hair because normally, but like she's like.
I wonder if they were going for like an 80s hope there. I don't know if that, I'm assuming that was intentional, if it was bring back like the wavy hair that she had, back when her and Beau were starting out kind of a thing. That's what I got from it.
To me, it could be practical, I think, because if she has naturally wavy hair, that to me says, I'm on a mission. Anybody got time for more than 2 minutes of putting in mousse in my hair?
You don't have time for a Brazilian blowout.
Yeah, we got to walk out the door. We got to be mission ready. And then out the door.
I took it as like, Hope's been off the, she was on Beyond Salem, but like this is like a reintroduction. So why not have some new hair?
Yeah.
New Hope, new hair.
How gay are we that we and Araceli that we're talking about Hope's hair?
Hey,
John Del Rey said maybe it was human. Maybe.
Hey, look. Oh wait, because where are they? Did they say where that lab was?
I don't think they
I was trying to think that too, because I was like, first of all, John and Steve got there fast.
Yeah.
Now, travel on days you kind of have to take with a grain of salt because people get from Salem to across the world.
Oh, they did do it like later that night, kind of a thing.
They did it later that, so they got there the same day.
Like 6 hours ish.
I was like, okay, I just assume when this stuff happens that they're on an island or they're in another country, but they could just be down the street in West Salem or South Salem or south side of Salem. Or
they had said that she left Caracas.
That's where the Kristen's place was in Nashville, right? That whole maybe it's
I think I suspect it's still within North America because they kept saying that Megan had left Caracas. So it's got to be somewhere in the. I suspect somewhere in the northern hemisphere.
They're in Ashtabula, Ohio.
It did say later that night, so let's estimate what took more than 6 to 8 hours to get there.
No.
And it would make sense.
USA.
And it would make sense storyline wise for it to be somewhat, close-ish to Salem.
Yeah.
It would be so funny if it's just in what do you
Chicago?
Call it? The secret tunnels of the DeMere Mansion, just on another wing, and they're literally right underneath the house.
That mansion ain't that big.
No.
Yeah. So, can we just talk about the distractions that we already talked about one, how Beau got Kate back into the room. Rolf's Look over there.
Look over there.
That was kind of funny.
He literally just went, ooh.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
But it's literally like Marlena and Kayla, like Rolf went, look over there. And they literally went. Right. And then they looked back and he was like inside and they were like,
yeah.
It's like, what do you think was going to happen?
I know. What?
And then
Kate could have ran. Kate could have easily ran out of that room. I guess Bo did have a gun, but I'm sorry. I felt like in his state of mind, he wouldn't know how to use it. But
well, no, I mean he looked pretty confident because he had it pointed and he was like, and I was like, he is serious. No, but the way Kate punched Megan and then called her a dumb bitch at the same time. Like,
love it.
Here's the thing. I feel like Kate has been over all of these stunts and shows and shenanigans since the halfway between heaven and hell. Like she is over it. Like she is tired. She is like, I am tired of being around y'all. I am tired of everywhere I go. There is something foolishness happening. And that dumb bitch was just a combination of, I have been halfway through heaven and hell and near death. I have now come back from the dead. I am now kidnapped. I am now being used as a guinea pig. I am tired. Get me home.
And she is every fan screaming at the screen through when all this is happening. Like I liked the, in between heaven and hell scenes, but if you were a fan who didn't like that, then you were one of the people yelling at the screen, get to the point. And that was Kate. Like when Megan was monologuing, like she's just like, get to the damn point.
I feel like we were getting like old Kate back. I know we talked a lot about it. Sometimes like they take her spark away, and I felt like this week she brought it. We had it. Yeah.
Kate's over it.
And I like that Kate was the one who ran into, but a lot of people didn't seem to like that. They thought it should have been Marlena or Kayla, but I like that it was Kate. I think it made more sense for it to be Kate, considering.
And this whole thing about the three women being dead, most of the focus, Kate's just been like kind of like she's had her moments in this, but it's mostly, I feel like it's been written to be mostly about Marlena and Kayla. Like they've had more of the impact or whatever. And Kate was just kind of like you were saying, like she's just the one that's like freaking over it. But now, like, because I was watching, I was like, I feel like Lauren Koslow has had more dialogue in these past 2 episodes than she's had like all year. And it was like, it was good stuff. It wasn't just her like making, silly, underhanded comments about things. Kate was actually part of it. So I like that. And there is history between her and Bo.
Yeah.
Not great history sometimes, but
but it's there. She brought up Victor, she brought up Billy.
Yeah.
But that to me why it made sense, because I think if it was Kayla or Marlena, it would have been a different surprise. Where if it was Kate, she has a history with Bo, but she's not that connected to him where she would have burst into tears or she would have ran into his arms. Like that's to me why it felt like it made sense to have Kate be the person to see him.
Because they don't want to do like that. Kind of gives something too soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's too soon for like Hope Kayla to find Bo. It's too soon for like Marlena or Kayla. Because you're right. It would have been like there's this with Kate. There was the surprise, but it wasn't like, oh, my brother.
I lost love. Yeah.
It's almost like the emotional.
Saving that for later.
Yeah, well, like the emotional reaction that Kayla or Marlena would have to seeing Bo. They would waste time, whereas Kate, seeing Bo first and then finding out that he's brainwashed or whatever, something's going on with him that he doesn't identify with her as someone, that he recognizes or someone who is connected to people that he cares about. She can keep her logical brain on.
Yeah, because when he walked around the corner, she was just like, almost gave the impression of like, oh, you're back from the dead too.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like a like she was just kind of like, you too.
Yeah.
Like that's how it felt. And then with Marlena and Kayla just had like, I feel like their scenes were more so like kind of info that there is someone that maybe they know that was in that cylinder thing or whatever.
I chuckled when they were trying to figure out who it was.
It might an athlete. It might be an athlete. No, maybe like a Hollywood star. Ooh, and I was just like, and Rolf is just standing. Look over there.
Well, it's like everybody is just like what it feels like everybody is just like one piece away from figuring it out. Because Kate is the only one who's seen him, and Anna probably got the closest. Everybody thought it was Stefano. And yes, Megan and Rolf's first instinct would probably be to say Stefano if his body would not have survived it. I think we can all agree. Like Anna said, like he'd be 90 by now. His body probably would have not have survived the process in the same way. And then, I guessed it. And they went into that explanation of, Rolf taking Stefano's essence a few years ago and implanting it into who we call Stefano, and that whole thing happened. So there was a logical explanation for that. But everybody is just kind of like missing one piece. Marlena and Kayla know for a fact that Megan is the one who has them. So the only piece that they're missing is who else could Megan have that she cares about, and that's the piece that they're missing.
But I don't think they would have a thought that it would be Belle. I think
Kayla, if they really they need to I think what's holding them back from that possibility is the improbability of it. Like it's almost like if someone presented it to you and said, would you like this person back, you would almost be afraid to say yes, because you're like, it's like, no, it can't be true. It can't be true because he's been gone. He's not been gone for like a few months or a few years. He's been gone for nearly a decade.
But she's been gone for several decades.
See, that to me, I actually was surprised that they didn't think it was Bo. Like, maybe it's
because they were given that clue. They were like, "Oh, we had him in here over," and they're like, "Oh, well, who? Okay, let's go through who died almost a decade ago."
Yeah, that's why I thought they were going to be like, could it be? I thought it was going to be
or like they didn't really go through anyone in Salem that died almost 10 years ago.
Because I think that they're too well. That was for Rolf's benefit, but I really think that they're going to put their brains together and figure it out and maybe be like, no, it can't be, kind of a thing. They just need to, they have all of the clues. They're just missing the key component of who did Megan care about.
But they're also not fully defrosted either. So yeah. And then there's something going on with Megan because she obviously needs the orchid for a serum or whatever. So I think there's still some after effects or something that she needs to stay alive, and I think she's also going to have to keep Bo alive as well. So, but I think they're going to probably explore that like a little bit later because the fact that she had the orchid and I think they kind of made mention of like how she looked or something like that made me go, oh, that she must be continuing to battle and get well too. Like she's not fully.
Y'all never heard of that of ice sculpting?
Cool sculpting.
Cool sculpting. Y'all never heard of cool sculpting? It's a real thing. I wouldn't
never
try
heard
it.
of it.
You've never heard of it?
I've seen the ads for it.
Yeah, except you could be part of the like 2% where it goes terribly, terribly wrong.
Zane asks, "What is this new serum?" I'm so curious. Yeah, we are too. I think it's something more so geared towards something that Megan and Bo needs rather than what Kayla, Marlena, and Kate needed. But I think the serum does, because Rolf even mentioned my brand new serum that I just came up with. That Kate was going to be the guinea pig for it.
Yeah, like a cure-all. I feel like it's going to, instead of these like multiple shots someone has to take or boosters, I feel like it's going to be the one cure to stop them from having to be dependent on some sort of medicine to stay alive.
Who knows?
The other Kate moment, speaking of the serums, that I knew it was going to happen. I was like, bitch is going to drop that vial. She's not playing around with this shit. She's like, oops.
She's over it.
Like, this is Kate. I like this.
She is over it. Can I ask, we were acquainted with Paul and Andrew on Beyond Salem. and they have reconnected
Mm-hmm.
in again in San Francisco. But what do we think? First impression. Yeah,
I'm here for it. I think we were all here for it in Beyond
back
Salem,
then,
and now we're here for it after Beyond Salem.
Let me tell you this: they wasted no time.
Yes,
Yay!
Like they kissed, and then the next scene they were like, "Whew," and I was like,
yeah, I like that they played the awkwardness of it
Tony.
in the beginning. It was like kind of like, where did we leave off? Are we still that close? Do we still have chemistry? And then like after the sex scene, it was like, yep, you have it.
Is it weird though that like I suddenly had a ton of questions when I was like, oh, okay, they just made love on the couch. But I was like, when we first saw Paul, wasn't he like in the middle of a workout? So like, you want to shower first? And then I was like,
but it was later that day, remember?
It's you know.
Add something. Going down that road.
I don't think he had gotten too much of a workout in until then.
He was just doing. It's not like he was doing heavy cardio.
Yeah.
He was just doing some, you know.
And then wasn't Andrew like? Didn't he have to travel from Washington D.C. to San Francisco?
He had plane stank. Yeah.
Again.
I would have been more for Andrew taking a shower versus Paul. Paul was probably still. I mean,
y'all are picky.
But then I also have other questions beyond that. But
don't go there.
Tony, at least one of them didn't say, I want to go to 7-Eleven instead.
Oh God.
But with all
it probably did later, and this is my point. These men, who knew these guys were so damn picky?
Listen, when it comes to the menses, there are things that are in question.
Tony.
And that's it. But I will say this. I actually thought like right off the bat the chemistry was there. And that moment where Paul reached for Andrew's hand and they did this wide shot of the both of them, I was like, ooh. I was like, they actually look really good together.
Yeah.
Like the former like baseball player, now I forgot what he does now.
He's a coach.
He's a coach.
Oh, he's a coach. Now coach dating like, you know, the Secret Service guy that really looks like a Secret Service guy with his like chiseledness and all that. And I was just like, okay, I see this.
They finally found the perfect pairing for Paul. And it was kind of like after all those years of being ping-ponged between Will and Sunny, and it was just like we were all in agreement, like nobody was a bad guy in those situations. It was just like, dude, please give Paul a decent man who's gonna put in the work to be committed to him, and enter a Donovan.
Yes. I'm here for it. So by a show of hands and also commenting down below, who ships Paul and Andrew?
Definitely.
I love it. I think they'll be good, and it's such a it's such an interesting pairing too. I like it. I'm here for it. Okay. Yeah. And look, they established that connection real quick.
Yeah.
I thought it was just going to end with the kiss. They cut to the next scene, and I was like, they ain't got no clothes on.
And you know what? I appreciated that John kind of gave Paul a kick in the pants when it came to relationships, and he's like the premier expert on like being pushed and pulled in so many different directions with the person that you love, and he's like, and he's literally like telling Paul, get over your pity party. If you want this man, go get him.
Yeah. And it's kind of like that. Don't let anything stand in the way, because it did sound like a bunch of excuses. Oh, well, you know, he's in DC and I'm in San Francisco and I just started this job. as a coach, and he's like, hey, and we talked about it, and da-da-da-da. And John was just like, go get your man.
Yeah. I mean, those are excuses you make when you really don't want to be with somebody. But if you do want to be with them, then you're like, oh no, you're just, everything that's coming out of your mouth right now is BS. You're scared as hell.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for this whole storyline. I'm excited to see Christopher Sean back as Paul and Colton Little back as Andrew, and ecstatic to see Bo and Hope back. I've actually really enjoyed what Days Peacock has done with like the clips and stuff that they've been showing about Bo and Hope, like just throughout the decades, and I'm glad that they agreed to continue on with this story and not just end it with Beyond Salem of him just opening his eyes. I feel like we're gonna get like a little bit more than just, because I think 5 episodes would have been very quick to like wrap that up if it was a Beyond Salem chapter 3. So I like that we're gonna get like, you know, a really good storyline. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
And then they mentioned Harris. She mentioned Harris Michael. So we know we're gonna get Mr. Burton again.
Yes.
Probably next week. So
yeah. I'm actually excited about that one to see where that takes a turn, because he's, you know, we'll talk about this next week, but Steve Burton's going to be reuniting with quite a few people that he's actually worked with in the past. So not just from Beyond Salem, but on GH. So it's a good. This is like he is not a veteran of Days, but he is a veteran of soaps. So it kind of feels like there's this energy in the room of like the veterans, just who know just how to show up on day one and just like, okay, let's just jump right in.
I also am curious as to, I'm scared to say this, but I'm going to say it.
Okay.
Whether we want to admit it or not, Hope and Harris had a really nice connection.
Yep.
And
I'm willing to admit it.
And, you know, I know it's Bo and Hope forever, but there was something about the chemistry of them and the fight that Harris had of going through this plan, but also falling in love with Hope. Like you could tell that he had feelings for Hope, right? So I don't know. I'm now also curious to know what that's going to be like, because while we're rooting for Bo and Hope, you know, reuniting, it's kind of like, but how is Harris gonna like? You know what I mean? Like how is this gonna play into it too? You know, because for me, there hasn't been a great match for Hope since Aiden. Point one. And I feel like this, like Harris and Hope are a great match for each other. But of course, there's history with Bo and Hope, and so
I may have yelled at Justin about this a few weeks back.
Well, we had our big discussion about Bo and Hope.
Oh, that's right. For the first time, I could sit there.
Yeah, but I would, but to Tony's point, I would make the exception for Harris.
Yeah.
Really, Harris is the one, not.
I think it in the sense that I think it has potential to build.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait and see what happens. You know, they are gonna be reconnecting. You know, still spotted that wedding band on Hope's finger.
Right. I think there's a lot of good elements here. So it's gonna be interesting. I already see Michelle Althouse in the chat that says Steve Burton has chemistry with everyone. No, Bo and Hope forever. But y'all, I'm sorry, like I get it, but y'all can't deny that sometimes there's a spark in chemistry between two other people. Yes, it's the end goal, but we'll see how this plays out.
2 weeks ago and listen to our discussion on Bo and Hope and see how we feel about that.
Yeah. Before we move on, there was a conversation between Roman and Lucas.
Which was kind of interesting. I felt like they got a lot into the Sammy stuff, which they don't. They kind of hint on every once in a while, but they also. So now we definitively know that Roman. I thought Roman was melting toward Lucas, but he basically said, "I haven't forgiven you yet."
Right. Yeah.
I think he will. I think it's just him saying, you know what, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
But Roman's also just been put through the ringer.
Yeah.
And I think it's more of he has no room in his head, in his heart, to deal with anything but the day-to-day at the moment.
Yeah.
Like it's not hatred for Lucas anymore. Yeah. It's more like I am not there because I'm not in a place to deal with any more than I can just deal with right now.
Yeah. I think I was a little surprised because I thought that's where it was leading to when they were talking about forgiveness. He was going to say, well, you know what? I have forgiven you, blah, blah, blah. Maybe this Orpheus thing changed his mind or whatever. I don't know. And then when he sort of, when Lucas was like, I know you haven't forgiven me, and Roman like didn't say anything, I was like, oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
I just feel like he went along with, trying to amend things with Lucas or seemingly just for that whole plan. But I'm also kind of like, listen, with all the stunts and shows and shenanigans that people have pulled in Salem since 1965, I mean, I just feel like forgiveness should just, at some point, it should just be, you kidnap someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're back from the dead.
Yeah.
All that stuff you did when you were brainwashed.
Possessed by the devil.
Yeah, I just hope we continue to see Brian. I think it's been a highlight to see him the last few weeks, sort of get in the mix of things. So hopefully he's around.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Now that we have beat that whole storyline with the dead horse, let's move on to drugged EJ is a fun EJ.
Oh my gosh! One of my favorite moments of the week was when. I can't remember what he said, but he was looking at Stefan and just went. I was like, Dan played those like drugged scenes like so well, and the way he was just like stumbling around, even like just the subtle looks on his face, like he was like,
because he knows, he knows he's been around the block long enough to know that the most buttoned up people are the most hilarious when they get wasted.
Yeah, but it was also fun seeing Nicole being like, listen, this is cute and all, but like, calm down.
Hold it down.
Like you're doing a bit much. You're doing a great job, but you're doing a bit much. But it was also just fun to keep seeing brother.
Yeah, right.
Brother.
I know. Like the switcheroos.
Oh no, yeah, I was over that. Oh my God, I'm so over that. It's been 2-3 weeks now, nonstop of switching the glass, and you get the glass, and you get the water, and you get the coffee. Oh my God.
But I'm glad it was just finally like, this was the last straw. You know what I mean? But stupid Johnny. Like, I'm like,
that was weird.
I'm like, here's the thing. You're a Demera, right? But even within the Demeras, there's always still someone you trust. You know what I mean? So it's like, either you keep the information to yourself and just talk to Wendy about it, or if you trust your father enough, just be like, what is going on? Like,
he did do that.
But he still seemingly believed that EJ was drugging Stefan first. And so when he went to Uncle Stefan and like blabbed about what was happening, which caught Stefan, Stefan caught wind of like, oh, okay, so this is the game we're playing.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, you don't say nothing until you know all of it. And he blabbed, so that's why we were getting the brother. Like, it's like, and then when he realized, I messed up. It's like, yeah, because Nicole and EJ had a plan to reverse it. And here you come thinking that your dad is the evil one, when there's actually Stefan. And now you got Stefan knowing that they know about the drugging, and brother, now that's going on.
He is a young Demira. He hasn't learned all the tricks yet. He has Sammy and AJ's his scheming skills, but not their chill. He hasn't developed that yet.
Also, honey, if you ain't got it, then you sit in the dugout and say nothing until you are up to bat.
Yeah. Well, EJ and Nicole didn't help matters by they were also trying to play him a little bit too, where if they had come clean, he would have been on their side.
Well, I don't know if we want to go that far.
Well, maybe not on their side, but he wouldn't have.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my mom asked me the strangest questions during this. my mother. Hello, Mom. My mom is watching. She says, "Hey, I don't have much to say today, just listening. But hello, everyone." So, hello, Mom.
Hi, Mama.
And then she asked, "I forgot to ask you, is your skin changing colors?" And I'm like, no. I just have a light on me, Mom. I just have a light. So no worries. Skin is still nice and smooth and dove-like. So my mother, you gotta love her. Okay, but yeah, what are we talking about?
Johnny.
Egypt. Johnny.
Oh yeah.
Shenanigans.
Yes, but I'm glad. I was very glad for the grounded conversation that they had, like sitting in the living room, just being like, I know you're drugging me, we're drugging you, we did the whole switcheroo, whatever. I'm aware of the plan of you. Like everything was just kind of put out on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, okay, now how are things going to move forward? Now what's the new plan? What's the new twist that's going to happen? Yeah.
So I feel like they're both playing in it. I mean, we still have Stefan and Wei. We still have that thing that hasn't been sort of tied up yet. And now we have EJ bringing Li into it.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have, which kind of makes sense when he was like, I have someone, or I called someone. I was like, I knew he called Li. Like, yeah.
Let the games begin.
Yeah. I just like it. Go ahead.
And he said when Li came over, his comment was, I want to make sure we get Gabi out of Demira for good.
Because if he breaks their alliance, then they can't take
right.
Yeah. But interestingly, Li wouldn't be opposed to that because he's already laid the groundwork for Gabi to get another company started. Which, you know what? I'm going to give it to him. That was a really smart move.
Appealing to Gabi.
Stops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want him to stop trying so hard.
He's so desperate. Just back off a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I have to bring this up because we were off when this comment was made, but I have to bring it up because I was like, I know that Camila had something to do with this line when Li was trying to win her back and he kept going on and on in Spanish and Gabi snapped at him like, stop speaking to me in broken Spanish. I can understand. I can understand you just fine. And it's more annoying than anything else. And he's like, but you're Mexican. He's like, I am American too. I'm bilingual. Shut up. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The most annoying thing to a Spanish speaking person is when someone tries to speak to you in broken Spanish. I'm like, dude, most of us speak Spanglish anyways. We don't even say mercado. We say, like in my family, we say marqueta. That's not correct, but it's what we say.
I don't even know what that is.
Market. It is not correct Spanish. It's just what we say because it's like we're just spouting off words. It's like we speak Spanglish. You're American and you're Mexican. You're Latino. It's both. Get it right. And that is my little PSA for the day.
Thank you for your PSA brought to you by Araceli Aviles. So yeah, I just wish that Li didn't seem so desperate because it's not working on Gabi at all. She continuously has an attitude. And I actually thought about this. I know that y'all as in Days has already filmed this, but I hope and I pray that for 6 months we do not keep seeing this Li trying so hard and Gabi being resistant, because I realize I'm already growing tired of it. Of just like every time she wakes up, she's like, and Li's like,
yes, that is Li, the smile, like a stalker waiting there in the kitchen.
Good morning, Gabi. What can I do for you today? And she's just,
get out of my face. That's what you
need.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for these 6 months to be over with so I can get my Demare shares. And he's like, whatever you want, Gabi. I was like, I cannot go through 6 months of that. So I hope that like something gives. I will say though, kudos to Camila again, because she was rocking that purple dress and those, and I don't know why. I maybe it was just the way the camera was. But when she opened the door, when she was about to walk out and Johnny was about to knock, I caught a glimpse at her legs and her calf, and I was like, "Ooh, those heels are making her calves like pop." I was like, "Yes, Gabi, like okay, like come on, pumps." And then I was like, oh, "Okay, Johnny, what you want?" Yeah. So, speaking of Johnny, that Miss Wendy girl, just go to Trip.
There's mixed feelings about this. I feel like the audience as a whole.
Oh, you got a little something right
there. I thought you were doing for a second. I was like, wait.
No, I was talking about what Wendy was doing the Trip.
Yeah.
And then, of course, everybody hops off that elevator and everybody's sitting in that same spot, getting caught up and stuff. It's like, girl, you just got caught up with Chanel in that same spot.
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, at this point, I feel like I'm more so rooting for Trip and Wendy because I just feel like Johnny has too much stuff and Wendy is not about that, and I don't think Trip has anything that's like holding them down, tying them down, like they can move forward with a better relationship. So
yeah,
I'm team Wendy and Trip. What about y'all?
I'm slightly more Trip and Wendy than Johnny and Wendy.
I'm on the fence still, and not because
I'm get off the fence.
No. But let me explain. It's not because I'm more of one camp or the other. It's more like, Wendy's very much a career girl. She's very much her own girl. I don't feel like she's had enough experience yet with guys to make me feel like I know her well enough to know who she'd be better with.
Okay, we'll stay on the fence. We over here playing in the ball game, and so we're saying Wendy and Trip. But you let us know how that goes.
I'm gonna see.
We'll send you. We'll send the churro and peanut man over to you every now and then, just so you can have a snack while you're sitting on the fence.
Dude, it's churro and chicharrones, peanuts. What are you talking about? You're gonna hurt my teeth. Y'all need to come to my side of town more often.
East LA.
Get somebody else to do it. And I believe that's it for that storyline, right? Yeah. All right. Now let's move on to Alex beds Gwen in a twin. Alex bangs Gwen in a twin bed.
Do you think Rob walked onto that set and was like, "This again"?
Another, yes.
Remember there was that issue with Ben and Sierra's bed being like infant sized.
It's easier than a couch.
I talked about that bed for weeks.
And that one was bigger. That one was like a double.
Is bigger, yeah.
Sierra and one was bigger, yeah.
But it makes sense. It has two beds since it's what's his name and what's her name, Gwen and Leo. Like it's two people. They wouldn't be sharing a bed. But it just looked a little too like.
There was no way.
One little Jimmy leg from one of them and they'd be off the bed.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no way in the world that Alex slept comfortably in that bed. his 6'2", long, muscular abs, testicles.
Pardon me,
back on track, Tony.
Could not have lasted in that twin bed. But you know what? I didn't mind them getting together. It made sense. Like both of them are having a bad day. Both of them were drunk. Like, sure.
For me, it has to be the last time they do this with Alex, though. Like this pattern, it's predictable now. It's
I don't mind it with Gwen. Here's the thing: the problem is that they had him do this with multiple people, and then emotions got involved. People got hurt. They had him do this with Stephanie, and then he fell in love with her at first sight. They had them do it with Chanel and Ali, and then again with just Ali, and then people got hurt. If he and Gwen decide to be bed buddies, and it's just for the sex, it's just to release some stress, and nobody gets hurt, then I'm like, okay, cool, do what you're gonna do.
Robert Scott Wilson is not 5'11". He's not 6'2". He is 6 foot though, according to Wikipedia.
I believe that because I'm 6 foot and he and I usually come like eye to eye. So that sounds right.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about the Gwen and Alex thing, but I like what it stirred up. I like the reaction of it. I like that we're getting this sort of like rivalry sort of between two cousins who really haven't spent much screen time together. I like seeing Xander jealous and sort of maybe he's going to pine away for Gwen now. So I like that twist of it.
I want a little bit of old Gwen back. I'm tired of her seeming like she's just weak and meek, and the character didn't start off like that. Like, I need more of that fire of like I felt like that there was a slight moment of that when she was looking at Xander like you're not everything. Okay. Like I like that, but I just need that to be more her. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe hopefully having the spectator and doing all that, which shout out again to the set designers and production designers of Days, Tom Early, for like creating the Spectrum office. It's just always nice to see like new sets.
Yes.
So and like that's enough.
I didn't get to say this last week. The phone.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like I'm at Araceli's house right now.
Yeah.
Wait, what about the phone?
Last week when they first introduced the Spectator office, there were phones like ringing off the hook, and I'm like, "Hey, have all new? Sorry, don't believe you're that busy." It's like, just not so much. Like, I'm like, no one can be calling that place that much.
No, here's the thing. It's
Salem.
But it's also the trap of like the old sound effects of like, yes, newspapers used to be phones ringing off the hook, but we're in the 21st century now. Everybody does email, text, digital communication.
Y'all, I'm not gonna lie.
They could probably have one land phone and be fine. One landline phone.
I was sitting in my house and that scene was playing, and at one point I went,
yeah, I did too.
I thought something was ringing in my house. I was like, oh. And I was like, who was so busy in the house?
The entire episode. This week I didn't. Well, and it's because I think it was supposed to be like early in the morning, so there were no phones ringing there that time.
I'm loving the sound effects. Every time they show that set, you just hear all the background. I'm loving it, actually.
It was my same reaction when somebody has the TV on in my house and there's a doorbell ringing. And I'm like, can somebody get that? And I'm like, it's just the TV.
Yeah.
Our dog growing up, just a quick sidebar, our dog growing up would always raise holy hell when we were watching Frasier. And the doorbell would ring on Frasier. No other doorbells on TV bugged her. When she heard the doorbell on Frasier, she went apeshit. It was hysterical.
Can we talk about Leo?
Do we have to?
What? I liked him this week.
He was okay. So I'll give him that. He was funny this week. I'm just like, Not everything has to be a joke. Not everything has to be.
No, but there was a point where he wasn't joking, where he called out Xander, and I was like, "Thank you, thank you." Those are things a good friend says when their friend is being raked over the coals.
What did he say?
Okay, you're
he
right.
Stood up for Gwen. He got in Xander's face and he told him off, and he told him, your wife, your snooty little wife doesn't want you. Here you have someone who does love you, and you're treating her like garbage. What the hell?
Okay, I'll give you that. Yes.
Then
at that moment, he wasn't annoying because he actually was making valid points.
Cut to Lady Whistleblower walking into the room. And why does no one who is stark naked run? Like
it's because it's Alex, and Alex has that ego where it's like, yeah, you can look at my junk, I don't care.
He's not shy.
Like Leo literally walked in and first he saw booty, and then Alex just turns
the whole family jewels.
And I'm sure everybody was at one point like,
yep.
Not gonna make the camera move anymore.
Sometimes it does.
You're thinking about the theater, Tony.
But that whole interaction between Leo and Alex, I don't even know how Rob Wilson was able to keep his anger, because Leo looks like he's over it too. Like, all these fine men in Salem that I keep running into half naked, and ain't nobody trying to get in these good dun debbies. I'm just saying.
And that's what we call that. People's what we call acting.
Acting. John Lovett.
And then I liked Maggie and Xander's conversation, and the fact that Maggie was just like, "Listen, I get it, but I'm just trying to stay out of it. But do you want a job?" And I was like,
"Yeah."
But what about Alex? I'm like, did Alex get fired and I just missed it?
Yeah.
No, I feel like he's headed away.
She's just gonna cut him out.
Yeah.
She didn't fire him, but I think she's leaning towards that way for what. Yeah.
I mean, and Maggie's always had a soft spot for
Xander. She from a professional standpoint chopped his getting rid of the magazine, which was his baby. Yeah.
But
masturbated him professionally.
Do we agree with what she's doing as CEO?
I don't understand why she came in hot against Alex.
Yeah,
very hot, and I don't know if I quite
agree
or just understand why.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that, I could have used if they were going to go that route. I would have needed a little bit more context as to why, because and we know, like, obviously she has that relationship with Xander, like, and they go back a little ways, and she's like a mother figure to him, and all that, but that doesn't mean to be on Xander's side she has to be so anti-Alex. But
I know, I think it was just that she anticipated that Alex was gonna do something, that Alex was thoroughly disappointed that he was gonna be bumped to number 2. Whereas Xander, when the CEO is Maggie, Xander's fine with it. Xander would be fine being number 2 to her because he loves her and he trusts her and he believes in her. It's a different dynamic. There's trust there.
Yeah, and they've always had a great relationship with each other. So I think that makes sense, and I think that Maggie felt probably disrespected from Alex with him going to Victor and being like, she's cutting the magazine. But
even before that, though, her attitude towards Alex was kind of maybe adversarial is a strong word, but she just seemed to have a wall up when it came to Alex, even before he went to Victor. And I feel like if she had been a little softer towards Alex, he might not have done that.
Because he was not shy about saying that he was upset about it. And I think she kind of went in on the defense saying, anticipating that he was going to pull something.
Yeah.
But why?
because he expressed extreme disappointment, and it wasn't disappointment just in Victor. She's had with this, that, and the other. Kyriakis had to hear for years about how disappointed the men are in Victor, and that he doesn't see their potential, and why is he pulling us this again, and blah blah blah. But it's never been directed at her. This time, it was Victor installing Maggie, so some of that resentment spilled onto her from Alex.
I feel like once he got over the initial shock of it, I think he would be fine as number 2. I think it was really the Bella stuff that really was like, oh wait, now first you took my job according to him, and now you're
doubling down. And it just seemed like I said, it just seemed like from the jump she had this wall up where Alex was concerned, and just was intent on just like chopping him down professionally. And I didn't really get why. It's
maybe she spent too much time around Victor.
I mean, a lot of this Maggie CEO stuff is not meshing well with me yet, but I'm giving it a chance.
I think it was just jarring, because I think we all thought automatically, it should go to Alex, because like he was already, the next person in line anyway. And so then when it became Maggie, it was just kind of like, but you don't want to just be at home with Victor with like the porcelain dolls, like
there was a teensy it wasn't outright, but there was a teensy bit of condescension every time he said Auntie Mag.
Auntie, I will give you that. Like I was like, no, don't call her Auntie. That no.
We did get a little tidbit though of Xander. We got the confirmation his mother is alive. That little like thing he had with Maggie, because before I think they kept it vague whether she was alive or dead, and I was kind of like, are we hinting at something? We
just haven't had like info on.
Are we gonna get mother Xander?
Just the fact that he was like, she's dead to me, and it was like, okay, is someone coming in the future or something?
Ooh, who would play Xander's mom?
Gwen.
Don't.
Come to Mommy Xander.
We'll put a pen in that. Let me do some research.
I feel like I know I was kind of looking at Araceli when I said that. I was like, who? Because it has to be like, it would have to be someone that's like established in daytime, somebody who like a name. Linda Dano.
You'd have to give me.
I was going to say, if they didn't have Linda as Vivian, I would have brought.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'll answer. We'll come back to that next week.
That actually would be.
Holy freaking moly!
I don't know.
And Susan Lucci just presented the Days writing team with the Writers Guild Award.
What's her name? Oh God, I'm forgetting her name.
I mean, we've had some gets. Days has had some gets in the last few years. That would be the get.
Yeah.
Is that the girl from One Life to Live?
Yeah, I couldn't. No, I couldn't see that.
Yeah.
I could see why somebody could see that, but I couldn't see it.
Leslie and Down, and she was on Days before during the
with the coronation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But no, I'd be down for Leslie and Down to come in.
Andrea Evans, Donna Mills.
She was already. What's the name?
Donna Mills is kind of on. No.
Morgan Fairchild was. Are you thinking of Morgan Fairchild? Yeah. Because as soon as you said she was already, I was like,
yeah.
Judith Light. I would love to see Judith Light on Days of Our Lives.
From Who's the Boss?
Yeah.
And
originally One Life to Live.
Yeah. We're not getting her.
Nice try. That was fun. One of the.
A lady from Absolutely Fabulous to come in and be like,
I wouldn't be mad.
Xander.
Yeah.
She enters Salem and falls out of a car drunk.
See. Somebody tag Ron in this. Give him ideas.
Right. All right, you guys. Those were your major storylines. But before we move on to our tidbits, just want to quickly remind you to 1, follow us on all social media platforms. 2, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. 3, find us on your favorite podcast stations. 4, make sure you buy our merch. And 5, welcome back. All right, so now we are moving into tidbits where women are saving dumb men.
Yep.
They may not like each other, but they were able to work that shit out for their stupid ass brothers. And even Stefan was just like, you know what, y'all, fine.
Stefan was like, "Listen, I got bigger fish to fry."
Yeah,
charges.
No, but because he knows, because if he has to go through the trial, then he's got to see their stupid faces, and he's like, I don't care to be around these people. Go away.
Yeah, it's like I am done. Done.
DUN done.
Yeah.
So what was really funny is when I was writing the rundown and I was writing out this, I wrote Jake. And I just kept going, and then I was like,
"Oh,
whoop." I was like, "Whoop."
Interesting.
Go ahead.
I say interesting. They're keeping this sort of budding rivalry with Belle and Eric going.
It's not a rivalry. She's rightfully pissed. He has not apologized for not one thing he has said or done to her, and she has never done anything to him. She's never. She is, and Brady pointed out she's the sibling he has the best relationship with. They don't yell. They don't fight. You know, he's not constantly having to defend, pretend, yell at her like Sammy is. They've never fought over the same woman like he has with Brady. You know, he has the best relationship with Belle, and he pissed her off, and she should be upset with him, and she should stay upset until he actually genuinely apologizes.
Agreed. 1000%. Rebuttal? No.
Yay. All charges are dropped. Yay. I mean, yay.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
It'd be interesting, like if this leads to like a storyline, like someone just said, like Belle and Sloane teaming up, like if they somehow were able to keep this like adversarial relationship, but like start their own like law firm.
Here's the thing. I don't think they completely hate each other, because once like Stefan agreed to drop the charges, they both went, "Give me 5 on the skin side." And then they were just like, And did you notice they both did like this? And I was like, were they supposed to bump? But then they were just like,
"Oh, I did see." Yeah.
But
There's professional admiration there.
Yeah.
You can totally hate someone personally and still say they're good at their job.
Yeah.
All right. Well, last in tidbits, Sean is still fine AF.
Anytime Brandon Beamer, anytime I see Brandon Beamer after a while, I'm just like, he's still fine.
Yeah.
It's nice to see him on screen and give Sean an actual storyline, considering he's a close character.
The last storyline was the Jan when the devil was still around. So
yeah, well, they got put through the ringer with that one, so I didn't mind the break, because then it just means that they're happy. But yeah, I mean, he's going to have a lot to do in the coming months, clearly. So this is the little calm before the storm again, kind of a thing.
It's just they can't. I will say this for Sean and Belle, no more Jan for like at least 10 years. All of their major storyline, like anytime they start airing, they bring Jan back into the picture, and I'm just like, they need something else to do other than fighting this bratty little woman.
They're gonna have something else to do.
Well, listen, they're doing the original Jan storyline with his father, so I mean, high school sweetheart. Yeah, I mean,
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So they're gonna, don't worry. They're gonna have stuff to do in the next coming months. You know, they both think their parents are dead, so, and that's not true. So we're gonna get them. We're gonna get them. But it was nice, and they got a lot of praise. I was seeing on socials, they got a lot of praise for those scenes.
Those two, Brandon and Martha, just have it. You know what I mean? They just have that chemistry together. That it's probably for them, like they've just been working together for so long that it just clicks as soon as they're together.
Well, and as we're going into this like resurgence of the super couples, of the 80s super couples. We've got to get, Kayla and Patch back together. We've got to get Marlena and John back together. Bo and Hope are coming back onto the screen as we get into this, back into the super couple era kind of a thing. We don't, I feel like there's always, and I think we've had this conversation before, a conversation we had about at what point does a couple become a super couple? And I feel like Sean and Belle have been through enough where maybe they haven't reached like the same super couple status as their parents, but they've been through enough. They've been put through the ringer enough that they have earned the right to be a great couple on the show, a staple on this show as a couple.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Heard. All right, well, that was your week of days, and now it is time to get into our segments, and we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's Official 3 Snaps Award. Oh, snap! I'm not even going to describe what it is, just play the clip.
Before you do whatever you're going to do to me, can I at least say something? Final last words. Make it snappy. It'll be short. It's just a sentence. What is it? The rope on my hands wasn't tight. You dumb bitch!
That is why Kate Lauren Coslow gets Tony's Official 3 Snaps Award.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap. It's just when you get tired of the BS. And that said everything.
This reminded me, there was a scene with Lauren and Louise Sorel soon after Lauren started where they were in the hospital and she punched Vivian in the face. And she did the same, like Lauren kind of like twirled, like did a full like spin. I'll have to find it and pull it. I hope it's still on YouTube because she literally stopped her and did a full spin. Mm-hmm. And it was epic.
Internet people, you have your assignment. Kate, Vivian, Lauren,
Hospital.
Louise, Hospital. Yeah. 90s, go.
Okay.
Tony.
Pause for Tony.
Oh, we're waiting for me. And now it's time for Caption That.
All right, continuing the love for Megan versus Kate, this week's Caption That photo comes courtesy of Megan and Kate, and this week's caption comes courtesy of Melissa, aka Queen of Demiras, with her caption, I said blue streak, not chunky blonde highlights.
And that has been Caption That. And now it's time for Those Were the Days.
I'm taking you back to March 15, 2013, where we had the, I believe, first wedding of Nick and Gabi in the Horton house. All smiles here, lovely couple, but this was sort of the beginning of the end for those two as Nick's character started to change and Gabi also changed. So yeah, a weird sort of take where they sort of started off as a seemingly nice couple and thought this would be an interesting pairing, sort of delved into something that would give a storyline for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 more years. But yeah, March 15, 2013, where we had Nick and Gabi wed.
And those were the days. And now it's time for It's a Gift.
And this week's It's a Gift goes to Lee, the one and only Queen of Expressions, Leah Stark. It's one of those things.
Been there.
Yeah, it's one of those things that just gets better the when it's on repeat.
And that was It's a Gift. And now it's time for News and Gossip.
And we are starting off with the news heard all around the world. If you haven't, you may have been living under a rock, but we have a 2-year renewal for Days of Our Lives coming right from Peacock. Great news is, in addition to just 2 years, that this is taking us not up to, but it is taking us through the 60th anniversary. So we will get a 60th anniversary. I know that was a big concern for people, and we're always wondering about renewals. Are we going to get a 1 year, 2 year? But Days of Our Lives is making it to 60 years. Just a big congratulations. I know people are always worried about that stuff. We're always worried about how they're doing on Peacock, since we don't really get ratings, and so we don't know how people feel. But hopefully this puts an end to that discussion. Peacock is very happy with Days of Our Lives. It has been renewed for 2 more years, and we will celebrate 60 years of Days soon.
Yay!
Next up, we have also, if you were living under a rock, you didn't get a chance to see our very own Tony Moore in a one-on-one exclusive interview with Christian Alfonso on Instagram. Not Peter. I'm sorry, Tony. I keep saying Christian Peter. Peter. Tony, how'd you feel about it? How'd you feel that whole thing went?
Well, overall, I thought it went very well. I was so excited to talk to her. I was so excited for the opportunity to talk to her on the Days Peacock Instagram. I felt like fans really enjoyed it and got to just hear like some very interesting things from her. I had to ask her about the holy shit line from Beyond Salem. And I found out it was not in the script.
Nice.
That was Christian Alfonso looking and saying, I think this would be Hope's reaction to seeing Megan. And so we talked about that. But it was a great interview. It was a great conversation. It is still up on the Peacock Instagram if you want to go and check it out. And Christian Alfonso is she's amazing and she's very sweet. She also even mentioned, she was like, you were in Beyond Salem too. I saw you. I saw the day that you filmed and we ran into each other and I was like, yeah. So we talked about that for a little bit. So yeah, so go and watch it. Go to at Days Peacock. It is posted in its entirety, the full 30 minutes.
10 minutes, Tony.
Unintended, yes.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like a 10 to 15 minute interview, but I mean, we were having a good time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, true fans appreciate it. We don't care how long it is.
Yeah, so it was great. It's very insightful about everything, and I think you will you'll get to know Christian a little bit better, and you'll be surprised about a few things. So go check it out. Thank you, Days Peacock.
Thank you, Days Peacock.
Next up, we have an interview with one of our favorites, a guy who we've actually been talking about a lot during the past month. Brody Hutzler, who played Patrick Lockhart, one of Hope's actual relationships that she was allowed to have. He is actually doing an interview with Alan Locker for The Locker Room on YouTube, premiering Friday, March 24th. He'll probably talk about his past soap history, and also he's actually now become a very successful realtor. So we'll see how his life transitioned there and see if maybe he's interested in coming back to TV or the world of soaps. But check that out, The Locker Room, Brody Hutzler, Friday, March 24th at Locker Room on YouTube.
And next up, Dan Furigal has gone to the dead side. His new movie, a vampire action film, Cryptic, is available on Amazon Prime now. Please go and support his project.
Yes, for all you theater lovers, if you don't know, James Reynolds and his lovely wife Lisa actually own and operate a theater, the Fremont Theater in Pasadena. Go look it up, check it out. Does really great work. They're actually hosting they're working with the Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival, hosting a performance of It's All Relative on Saturday, March 25th at 8 p.m. Go check out information on the festival. They're doing all sorts of discussions and panels celebrating women in theater. All tickets and information, go to www.lawtf.org. So go check it out. It's an amazing organization and great festival to take part of.
And if you didn't see it, go check it out on the Days of Our Lives YouTube channel, an interview between Wally Kurth and Steve Burton. Steve Burton, of course, will be reprising his role as Harris Michaels from his way back in 1987, first on Days of Our Lives, most recently on Beyond Salem 2 role. But this is a good conversation to have because Wally and Steve played cousins on General Hospital for years. And they discuss, how like their time together on Days didn't overlap, but they had major storylines together on General Hospital. So they've been good friends for many years. Actually, Wally was a part of probably the biggest storyline that Steve ever had on General Hospital, where basically his character it was like, and I kind of went through the archives of all like most soaps. It was probably like the one, amnesia, whatever storyline that a soap character has had that was never corrected, never retconned. So yeah, if you're like a General Hospital junkie like me, go check that out. It was really good to just see them together, and he's been putting in a lot of time with Christian and Peter on the set. So go check that out on the Days YouTube channel.
Yeah, welcome back, Steve Burton.
And for those of you looking for a reunion of Melissa Reeves and Matt Ashford, they are actually teaming up for a new holiday movie called, let me get this right, A Carolina Christmas, where they play a divorced couple who hate each other, who are forced by their daughter to spend the holidays together. A Carolina Christmas. We don't have distribution on it yet, but they are currently filming it, I'm guessing, for a holiday release this year. But once we get that information, we will update. But yeah, it's good to know that they're working together again, and who knows when we'll see them on Days again. But yeah, you will see them this holiday season in A Carolina Christmas.
And last up, we have some updates. Spectrum Celebrity Virtual Events coming up. Mike Manning is coming up on Friday, April 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And we have our lovely favorite, Stacey Hyduke, coming up on April 29th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific. Tickets are currently on sale at spectrumcelebrityevents.com. These are really fun events. They're one-on-one in the virtual world, so go check them out.
Yes. All right. And that was news and gossip. And now it's time to see what's happening next week on Days of Our... Wait, what? Oh, that's
on Peacock's Days of Our Lives.
First of all, look at the name like
I want to find Megan. I want to bring her justice.
Buried memories.
There was this tube-like container in the lab with someone inside.
Who was it? Who was in the tube?
Lead to clues.
I'll tell you how proud I am of you, son.
I have a possible location on Megan Hathaway.
We just found her needle in the haystack.
That bring family.
I'm really happy to be back home. Wait, Mom is where?
Back together.
Oh my God. My brother's alive.
Oh.
You know what? I'm very interested in seeing how this Ben Alex.
Everybody is. And I think I speak for Michael when I say, please don't have Robert Scott Wilson in a scene with Robert Scott Wilson.
Oh, I'm assuming.
Nope.
No, I don't. I don't.
Finger. Nope.
I don't think that's gonna happen. But I just feel like
Ben, Alex, Ben.
Don't do it.
I just feel like in years past,
I said what I said.
If anyone is like playing like there's no one that has. I mean, there has been, but like for instance, Bonnie Lockhart, we knew was Bonnie because but was playing Adrian as Bonnie. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And when she wasn't Bonnie, we knew that she was Bonnie and not Adrian, right?
Yeah.
Well, with Alex and Ben, the only difference between them are suits and glasses.
The clothes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Everybody keeps asking why Alex has glasses. I'm like, that's why.
Yeah.
But it's also to credit Robert Scott Wilson. There is I don't see a speck of Ben.
Oh, totally.
As Alex.
He's killing it.
Yeah, so I'm just curious to see like when Ben is back on the canvas, because you know what's going to happen. They're gonna click from Sierra and Ben, and then they're gonna click to like Alex and like and Gwen, and you just gonna have to be like,
Gwen's gonna come into the hotel room and she's like, wait, I have to do a British accent.
I just swore that I saw you
She's
in
like,
the
oh my
town
god,
square.
I thought I just saw you at the square. I saw a bloke that just looked just like you.
And Michael Madis is gonna be in his room like
smashing the TV. Yes.
Yes.
Well, y'all, that's what's going to happen next week on Days. Make sure you tune into that. Also, next week, we can announce this. If anything changes, we'll let you know. But we will have Ari Zucker and Sean Christian join us to chat about their upcoming retreat in May. So make sure you tune in next week for that. But before we head out, Michael Madis, where can they find you?
7-Eleven. Oh, on Instagram and Twitter at MLMattis.
Getting a $7.99 pizza.
Used to be $5.
Wow. Inflation. Justin, where can they find you?
On Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
Just Instagram?
Yep.
Okay. You know, Araceli, I thought about you when I logged on to the Days Peacock Instagram, and I thought, man, really wish Araceli was here. But where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Tia323 Araceli.
But not on Instagram. You'll never be able to tune into my one-on-one with Christian Alfonso. So sad.
Oh, how sad Araceli is on that.
Yeah, look at the tears streaming down my face.
And of course, you guys can find me on all social media platforms: YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram at Lounging with Tony. And of course, you can find all of us on Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on the Twitter. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another lovely recap of your favorite soap opera, found exclusively on Peacock, Days of Our Lives. We will see you back here next Sunday, where we're serving up a full dish of Peacock's exclusive Days of Our Lives. Until then, everyone, have a wonderful week. Stay warm, and we'll see you back here. Bye, everybody.
Bye.